I made a trailer some time ago about the Lord of the Rings, War of Rohirrim, or however the hell you pronounce it, and I already called it in the trailer that this was going to be some weird, oh my god, the female takes over and all the men are dumb kind of situation, and it just put me off. And, you know, people always say, well, don't judge the trailer. You haven't seen the movie. Well, I have seen the movie, and it's exactly what I said. The only thing that's different about this compared to a lot of other modern shows and movies is that the girl isn't totally insufferable, and the animation is actually pretty good. As a matter of fact, I would say that the animation is the best thing that this thing has working for it. Like I said in my previous overview of the trailer, kind of reminds me of Princess Mononoke, and of course you have this girl, she's a redhead, which I know is rare, and she's going all brave, Merida style, like, I don't want to be a queen, I want to be a savage.
Classy, bougie, ratchet.
Where she just wants to live her life and not be tied down to no man and not be queen or king, whatever, any monarch. She just wants to be free and ride her horse, doesn't want to take on the responsibilities she was born into, even though everybody else has to, because she's not about that life. It's too much for her. She doesn't know how to sacrifice for the good of her kingdom, because the role that she fits like everybody else does, it's just, she's too good for all that. Honestly, when the movie started out, I was okay, sort of. And I had said before I wasn't going to give my time of day to this because it really did look freaking boring. And aside from the animation, I was basically right. It was a bit boring, and I was able to imbue the power over the media so I could watch it faster because I'm the freaking Flash. Like I said, started out kind of okay. Then as it approached the middle, and then especially the last act, just had me rolling my eyes. Like my eyes were constantly rolling the entire time. Like I said, I don't know what it is with modern shows and movies needing to have a female character be strong only if she can undermine or make the men of her species look pretty stupid, or they're not as good as her, or they're incompetent, or what have you. It always has to end up there. And at least this girl wasn't as bad. She wasn't insufferable in her behavior. She loved her father, but she also had the same thing a lot of the other modern female characters have, which is the ability to do absolutely everything under the sun. She could climb super well. Apparently, she's a super good fighter. She's even better than men that were 20 years her senior. All of a sudden, she is coming in to like a meeting that they have when the wolf guy that she was supposed to marry, but she's like, no, I don't want to marry you or anybody. And he's strategizing to go against them. And the men, all of the men in the board are like panicking, like, what are we gonna do? We don't have food. And she's like, guys, don't lose hope. And I'm thinking, bro, they needed you to come in and say that? These men are so experienced, and somehow she's able to do everything that is necessary. The one other thing that's stupid is at the end of the movie, and forgive me, I'm not going in any particular order, but she has to face off against her old childhood friend who is now the villain of the story because his father died and he wants to seek vengeance. There was no character building on him, by the way. He just wanted to burn the entire world because his father died, but we don't see the relationship with his father warranting all of that madhouse behavior in the end. But anyways, they show that Hera is weak. You know, when she's going up against a dude that's twice her size or 3 times her size, yes, she's weak and she has to be nimble and whatnot. Her swordsmanship isn't enough. But then at the end, when she's got Wolf all submitted, first of all, she doesn't let him drop his sword. She shows him mercy and is able to somehow stay his hand and completely then overpower him when she couldn't have done that before. Like, they were matching strength at this point. And don't tell me he was hurt or he was whatever. He's a dude. She was doing all that activity too. So the old lady throws her shield, maiden shield thing, and she's able to push him back. Like, he's much larger than her, and she somehow, right, is able to just push him back. Like, she's super strong all of a sudden. She's like, I got you. I'm gonna push you down. I'm just like, what in the world? How? How is that possible? And she's using her shield now to freaking hold it there. From this angle, first of all, unless you hit someone in the throat with this, there ain't no way you're gonna be choking a full-grown man as a woman and having him stay there until he dies. First of all, the leverage needed for that would need to be on the top of the shield here. Anybody knows that. We've seen countless movies and shows do this. But no, she holds it with one hand, and it takes like freaking, what, 2 seconds for him to suffocate? and he can't even push it off. She just kills him and she's like, oh my god, yes, I killed you. Pretend to be dead now. He's not even fucking trying. Oh my god, this movie. I don't know why I even had hope for it. Somebody in the comment section they were telling me on that video that I was being freaking ridiculous. Okay, they weren't that mean. They were like, okay, look, first of all, you know, the trailer is the trailer. You gotta watch the movie, and bingo, because like I said, trailers now do this weird thing where they show the entire movie or the plot beats of the movie in the trailer. So you basically watch the movie when you watch the trailer. And exactly what I thought and exactly the conclusion that I arrived at in the trailer, because that's what they were giving us, is exactly what the movie did. The only male that got sort of a good send-off, and he had to die because you can't have strong men surviving. He had to Khal Drogo that shit. He was Hera's father, and I guess this is the character from the books. You don't even really get to see him fighting all that well. It's not about him. It's about his daughter, okay? Get it correct. He stands at the door, and it's so stupid because there's one of the points in the movie, okay, because she's telling everyone all this stuff, and they don't listen to her because, okay, we don't listen to you because you're whatever. And he's trying to protect her. Her two brothers are more experienced in battle than her, and the way they died, they died because they didn't listen. She had told one of the little brothers, or older brothers, hey, take my horse, it's faster. Your horse is slower. The horse literally slows down at a time when he's supposed to be catching up to them, and then he fights, and then the guy captures and kills him in front of the father. The other brother, in the middle of battle, even though he has experience, decides to slay an elephant and stand on top of it so he can get an arrow in his neck in the middle of a fucking battlefield, which makes no sense anyway. And the father is the only one that had a decent send-off, but he still had to die. But while he was dying, they made sure they gave him a script to follow very tightly. And you know what he said? I'm going to tell you verbatim. Okay, it's not literally verbatim because it was in another language I watched it, but still, since that was a son that died, by the way. He starts saying to her, I should have listened to you because you're brave and smart and stronger than I thought, and I was very blind not to see it. I have failed you. That is literally what he says. And I'm like, what in the fuck? Why do they all have to do that? And she's just standing there, and of course she says, no, you did everything because you loved your people. But they gotta have the freaking worship. I was wrong, and you were a woman, and you were right. You don't even let them speak for themselves. Like, we already know, whenever it's a dude who's basically the main character in one of those doomsday movies, they always see him come back, or they call him back, and it doesn't need to be said through words that he was right. But whenever it's a woman in these modern shows or movies, they always gotta worship. Oh, I will serve you. You're my queen. You're my goddess. You were so right. You're so stunning. You're so beautiful and smart and brilliant. And I was insecure, or I didn't know any better, and I should have seen it all along. And it's just utterly, completely nauseating whenever they do that. It's like they need people to bend over backwards to validate females that are heroes. Like, they can't stand on their own. They need to overpower them and give them endless supplies of skill sets that they didn't even work up to or build on the character until the very last minute when it's revealed. And that's exactly what happened in this Lord of the Rings Western anime. Because this girl, we didn't see anything of her fighting or training or being able to freaking mountain climb or do all of these feats of grandeur that not even men that are more experienced than her could do. I mean, she beat Wolf so fast. He has way more experience. She had to save her cousin that went to go save her from the elephant, and she had to take over and save him, or the old woman had to save all of them, and it's so annoying. It wouldn't be an issue if they didn't do this to death, and if it wasn't done so freaking fist up the ass. Another thing too, like I said, they didn't make her completely unlikable, but because she was bland, like, her character was very boring and forgettable in my opinion. On top of everything they gave her, I didn't feel any sadness whenever she was feeling sadness. You know who I did care about in this? Well, first of all, like, when I saw the trailer, I wanted to see Wolf's story, and even though, okay, he's good looking, that's all he's got going for him, his character was very shallow as hell. Like, oh my god, my father, you killed my father, I want to kill the king. But now at the end of the movie, he's mad at her because she denied him a hand in marriage, and now the revenge is not to get at the father or the people or not to get at her father, sorry, the king, for what he did to his father, which was kill him in one punch, which is hella embarrassing. But now it's towards Hera because she didn't like you back, and like, oh, okay, they were childhood friends and inseparable, but I didn't get that past them just telling us. For an animation, you would think that they do a whole lot more showing than they did, but there was nothing to make us feel for the characters. The only person that had a bit of character growth or depth in the very least was her cousin, who they actually barely show in the trailer, even if all. It's the guy who becomes the king at the end because even though Hedda is the rightful heir, she didn't want the crown because she wants to be free. So he takes it, like she gives it to him instead, her cousin. And oh my god, Saruman, guys, remember? Yeah, but then at the end, he's like, it should have been you, Hedda, that need this crown. Nah, I don't want it. I could have it if I want to, but I don't want it. So I could just shirk my duties, because even though, you know, I'm a boss bitch, I still don't want to be queen, though. You should take the responsibilities that's on your shoulders to lead this entire thing, because I'm not capable of that, even though I'm capable of everything else, because I want to be free and do whatever I want. Not like you can, not like every other dude here, because they can't just do whatever they want. They have responsibilities. Responsibilities? What's that? Even though my father trusted me with the people, but whatever, you take it. But yeah, this guy, I actually cared more about him, and he was kind of in the background near the end of the movie, just waiting to like blow the horn so that, I don't know, dude, this whole thing felt like a very long session of swallowing down an eternally bricked up piece of dog shit down your throat hole. It felt so uncomfortable. Even when I was watching it quickly, like it just fell apart. It was already falling apart to begin with, but the end of the movie was just so dumb. It was so freaking dumb. I don't even know, like, I'm not even gonna lie and be like, oh, I expected to like it. I already knew from the trailer that it was gonna be ass, but it still didn't stop me from rolling my eyes when I got to those parts. If the point of this movie was to tell a story of a character who was forgotten and whose story wasn't told, they sure did a shit job, because now I know why it wasn't told, because it's so freaking forgettable. I will walk away and not remember her. I'll remember her cousin. I'll remember Wolf. I'll even remember, no, I won't even remember the Shield Maiden lady either. They're all so freaking boring. The only reason I would even remember Wolf is because of his looks and because it was so outlandish, his motivations towards the end. We only saw him as a two-dimensional character. She was a two-dimensional hero, no depth, no substance. She wasn't likable. She wasn't like hateable either, but she just definitely was not a likable person. It just felt like a waste of time. This entire thing was like, hey, look guys, we can be anime too. Look, and see, strong female character. Like, oh my god, right? So aren't we inclusive? And anime, guys, am I right? That's basically what this came off as. Lord of the Rings, am I right, guys? Lord of the Rings plus anime, right, guys? Like, it came off so stupid, and it really did feel like a money grab or something, because they noticed that people are more interested in watching anime nowadays than the slop that they're putting out. And so they thought that, like, with another IP, they were gonna make another version of Rings of Power and be like, boss bitch, right? Because it's not allowed to have a male character now, a male character that is just a male character that don't need no female or whatever and is masculine and not evil in the freaking 21st century. That is so illegal nowadays. Like, especially if he's like pale-skinned, right? It's so fucking annoying. I'm so freaking tired of it. And I know a lot of you are probably gonna think, damn, calm down, it's not that serious. Yeah, maybe it's not that serious, but it's annoying enough for me to talk about it. And since my channel is about entertainment, why the fuck would I not talk about entertainment? That makes no goddamn sense. Coming to a channel that's about talking about entertainment and shit, and getting mad that I'm talking about entertainment. So, I mean, what are we really doing? Anyway.
Calm down, calm.
I feel like I wasted my freaking time. I feel like I really did. Nice, pretty scenes, though. Nice, pretty scenes, but a waste of time. I'm glad I did not pay for this, and I'm proud to say that I did not. At this point, even if they were to have switched her out with a male character, and they made him just as bland and two-dimensional as she was and forgettable, it would still be a waste of time. It felt like no soul went into this whatsoever. This might as well have been a cutscene in a video game.
The trailer just screams in your face. It just shouts on top of its digital lungs. Remember Peter Jackson, remember the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Yeah, we're connected to them, totally. PJ endorsed us. We are the good version of the Lord of the Rings. We're not Amazon's Rings of Power.